Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. We are so excited to have you again. Sequel to the meeting that was held by the northern governors alongside the Arewa youth and also emirs and some top government functionaries who are from the north, the other geopolitical zone have decided to react to that meeting, and right now they are telling the northerners that they will no longer succumb to the supremacy card that they have played as long as now. In other words, they're not ready to give in to whatever decision they make in a meeting that is held only for the northerners and resolution reach. And according to the news, the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum SMBLF on Wednesday warned that it will no longer allow a section of the country to play any supremacy rule over others. The forum said this in a communique after an emergency meeting held in Abuja. The communique was signed by Chief E.K. Clark, Pandef leader, AVM, Idonson Chief Broderick Bozimo, Mr. Solomon Asemota San, Senator Basi Henshaw, Professor G.G. Dara, and Chief T.K.O. Okorotie. Others are Chief Ayo Adebanjo for Afenifere leader Mr. Yinka Odumakin, Senator Kofoworola Akerele Buno, Oba Oladipo Olatan, Senator Femi Okunromu, Chief Supo Sonibare, Chief Demola Folarin, Dr. Akin Fapuhonde, Chief John Nwodu, President General Ohaneze, Chief Guy Ikoku, Dr. Chukwemeka Ezeife, Mr. Chuks Moma San, Mr. Mike Ahamza San, Mr. Madu Bright, Chief Archie Okpaga, Chief Alex Ogbonna, Dr. Pogu Bitrus, President Middle Belts Forum, A Commodore Dan Suleiman retired, Dr. S.D. Gani, Elder Stephen Bangoji, Honorable Jonathan Asake, Mr. Chris Abba, Mr. Mark Jacob, and Mr. Festus Ayiwo. Reacting to the meeting of northern state governors with northern emirs and chiefs and Arewa leaders in topmost position in the current regime held on Monday, the leader reiterated its call for restructuring before the 2023 general election. And the communique reads, the meeting coming aftermath of the NSAS protest when we should be putting heads together nationally to seek solution to our problem is most destructive, divisive, and made Nigeria widely scattered as against the indivisibility and other non-sequaturs that were regurgitated at the end of it. When would this country be heading to if we also decide to call our own meeting with our governors and top officials in the federal government? We do not see any responsibility displayed by those who have been serially accused of sectionalizing our national government to allow such insensitivity, and total subversion of the unity of the country that only exists on the lips of those behind. It is not also lost on us that the communique of the meeting was making space for National Executive Council nomination to a sectional initiative as the utmost level of disregard to the rest of the country whom they are treating ourselves when we are supposed to join an equal stakeholder in Project Nigeria. The meeting wondered the quality of humanity of any group meeting at this period of mourning not to have a word of compassion for those that were recklessly murdered by state forces and hired thugs during the protests. We reject the indecent approach to paste the peaceful protesters in dark colors. They made their demands clear and were orderly before the violent Nigerian state deployed armed soldiers and thugs in 911 lorries against them. It is wickedness to play our power above every other national interest by playing the regime change label on the peaceful protesters who were not armed like Boko Haram that the regime is chasing about with negotiations in the same spirit it has been coddling and pampering killer headsmen. We do not see the thoughtfulness in the celebration of northern youths not participating in NSAS protests as if they did not also look like they are deprived young people in other areas of the country, which shows they are suffering the same thing. But instead of treating leprosy, our counterparts are dealing with eczema. We foresaw all that is happening now, which is why we have been calling for restructuring as a multi-ethnic country like Nigeria can only be run along federal lines. We were not oblivious of the damage the military did to the country by using fiats to create local government with headquarters in the villages of Stopshot, mostly from the north. Kano State today have 44 local government area and Bayelsa have 8. When you want to recruit 10 policemen per local government area, we'll have 80 for Bayelsa and Kano will have 440. That affects where the material to be drawn into SARS and others are from. The inequality multiply everywhere, and this is why we insist on restructuring of this country now before we go for any national election. We make it abundantly clear to our colleagues from the corners that yesterday ended last night and never again shall this country be run the same old way. No section of the country can play any supremacy rule again as if the rest of us are fools. It is either we live together as equals under the same rules of engagement or we explore other options as dignified human beings. We deeply mourn with all families who lost dear ones in the crisis we just went through and pray to God to comfort them. May those who wantonly destroyed lives pay grievously for their deeds. Wow, I tell you the whole truth, this is a right step taken by the other geopolitical zone because most of the things that we have seen thus far in this country is just because some persons have been too calm to stay under certain persons. And I feel that at this point, restructuring of this country is overly necessary. You've heard what these people said. You guys have heard what the other geopolitical zone did. That's the socio-political or not socio-political, socio-economic and groups in the other geopolitical zone have to tell the northerners, enough of all of these. Issues of this kind should not be discussed in just a forum where only the northerners are there. It makes no sense. If we are talking about an indivisible Nigeria, then whatever decisions that must be made where other geopolitical zones are present. You can't call some key stakeholders. The Senate president was there, the IGP was there, all the key emirs, they were in attendance. Arewa group was also there. All the northern governors were also there. They sat back, draw conclusions on so many things, refused to take into cognizance that there are other people who are subsisting. As much as we are talking about one Nigeria, but at the same time, it's important for us to be empathic enough to feel the pains of other people. Imagine how the Southerners have been responding to some of the events that have been taking place in Borno. They talk of insecurity, even during this period of, when this NSAS issue pop up. Nigerians were begging the northern youths to join them because they know that they have key issues like the issue of insecurity. Let's together seek for government intervention in this respect and see how we can get the best, not for just the northern youth, but for the Nigerian youth. I feel at this point that we need to clear some doubts in the minds of these guys that we can survive. Nobody is asking for disintegration of this country, but don't force people to begin to think in that direction. If you want to make Nigeria an indivisible country, then you must ensure that before decisions are made, consultations must have been carried out in all the 6 geopolitical zones. Stakeholders in the whole country have been met and lines have been drawn. There had been a unanimous decision on certain things, not just to wake up and call for a meeting and discuss things that concerns the country in one small gathering. It's absolutely not fair. I feel this step taken by all these groups in all these other 5 geopolitical zones is a good one, and things must be done aright. That's where I like to leave it. Go to our comment section. Let's interact. What do you have to say about the meeting of the northern leaders and what the response of the southern leaders are in respect to it? Let's interact in our